Dying Light 2 is already starting 2022 with a bang. The game is getting its first free DLC very close to launch, and we also have a first look at all of the free and paid content that Techland is preparing for the game this year. On top of that, we should also take a look at some of the brand new features that you will experience in the final release, including a first look at the Craftmaster, all of the cool stuff you're gonna get added, and the upgrades, and also a first look at some of the high-end open-world activities. Let's begin with the post-launch roadmap that Techland has posted yesterday, and yes, the game is getting a full 5+ years of support, including 2 paid story DLCs, but also free ones that will include new weapons, events, enemies, stories, and more. The first one will kick things off quite soon after launch, between that and March, and that's gonna be the factions inspired free DLCs right here. Now, we don't know much about the contents of these, but you can already probably notice that these will be kinda item related. So this will include 2 outfits, most likely inspired by the 2 main factions in the game, the Peacekeepers and the Survivors, and also 2 new items at the very least, including a really cool katana or sword and also a double-handed axe. Now, on top of that, Techland might also include some other bits, but I kind of doubt it. In the past, in some of the free DLCs for the first Dying Light, they would also include some free new infected and maybe some new soldiers, but probably that's gonna be reserved for something else. And of course, this is the free DLC. We also get a paid one this year around summer, because in June is when we should get the first story DLC that's also paid or included in the deluxe and the other like higher versions of the game if you pre-order it. Now, of course, between these 2 periods, there's going to be some other free content drops in the meantime, and starting with March, we should get our first set of challenges, and the second one should happen around May. Now, challenges, if you play the first game, are kind of like these timed events where you have to complete these challenges, like running and doing parkour under certain conditions, and then get some cool rewards at the end of them. As a matter of fact, the first set of challenges that are indicated on the post-launch roadmap already seem to be parkour oriented, but we might get some new ones this time around as well, maybe more directed towards combat. And that's because around April we will get a first series of events called Mutated Infected, and we kinda know how this will pan out because there's a similar one happening right now in the first Dying Light game called Spike's Story Last Call. I'm kinda surprised that they're still putting this out so close to the launch of their second game, but it kinda gives us a glimpse into what to expect from the other events we're gonna see in the second Dying Light. So totally expect event-related buffs to certain types of weapons, like here for example, electric weapon mods are getting stronger and have longer durability, and also bonus XP towards certain types of activities or drops, and all will coincide also with some cool new rewards. In this case, there would be bounties in the first Dying Light. If you take down bandits or help survivors or just take down the infected, you're gonna get some cool new weapons and also some blueprints and mods. And judging by the name, it seems to be a multi-part event, so it will have an overarching kind of like story in the background that will evolve as we all progress through it, and you will probably have the timer going on too, so kinda waiting for this to see how it pans out, but it already looks promising at the very least compared to like Cyberpunk 2077 that didn't even have a fraction of these already so close to launch. But anyway, I digress. Let's also talk about some of the cool new features that we've seen in some of the recent gameplay reveals. Of course, you have the source material down below, but I wanted to extract these specific new mechanics and cool new additions that you're gonna play with in the full game. And one of them we've talked about previously is the Craftmaster, and this is like the NPC that you use to upgrade your blueprints. In Dying Light 2, you also get to upgrade blueprints, not just the weapons themselves, which means you can then craft really powerful versions. From the looks of it, the Craftmaster can be encountered relatively early in the main campaign, and you need to bring to him these special items called infected trophies to exchange at him for blueprint upgrades. And just like how we said previously, these blueprints have 9 levels of upgrades, so you will need quite a lot of these, but fortunately enough, it's easy to get them because you basically get them from, well, you guessed it, infected. Now, the tooltip here mentions that these can be looted from special infected, which are easier to find during the night and are marked on your map with a special icon, like in this case a banshee that has an icon over its head to make it more visible during the night. But from the recent gameplay reveals, it seems that trophies can also drop from regular types of infected. In this case, some of these uncommon and even rare types of trophies definitely drop from just normal ones. And you can also see how they look in the inventory, where it gives you a lot more details. Like for example, the more rare ones don't just drop from banshees, for example, but also from bolters and goons. And it seems that it's gonna be category based, so different types of zombies or infected will drop different types of trophies, with wireless haulers and spitters dropping this version of it. It's very likely that the special infected will just drop higher quality ones, or will have higher chances for higher quality ones like epic or maybe even legendary. And this right here will be how the upgrade screen looks like. You're gonna be able to pick your blueprint and then upgrade it to get supposedly better stats and some better effects. And if you also want to purchase new ones, yes, the Craftmaster also acts as a vendor that will sell you brand new blueprints. It's very likely that there's gonna be multiple Craftmasters on the map. Now moving on next, as I've said, we also had a glimpse at one of these open world activities called Parkour Challenges. Basically, just like what the name implies, you need to complete these tracks under a certain time limit, and depending on the medal that you get, you're gonna get better rewards and better XP at the end of them. For example, we had a glimpse at the Night Runner trial, quite an early one that already seemed quite challenging, so you might need quite a number of parkour points in there to invest into, like new jumps, far jumps, or maybe some other cool parkour abilities to make traversal easier, because it's just 2 minutes, but it gives you quite a bit of agility there that you can then use to invest into the parkour skill tree, assuming of course you level up and all of that. Now the final ones are a little bit more high-end. These are the Dark Hollows and the Forsaken Stores. Dark Hollows probably being the dark zones from the first game. But basically these are two open world locations that contain valuable loot, and we've seen that Dying Light 2 is filled with loot and a ton of stashes laying around with a ton of weapons and consumables. And during the day they are kind of full with infected, but if you explore them during the night, it's way more beneficial, just like how it was in the first game, since yeah, the infected won't be as active. Luckily stealthiness will help a lot with that, but they provide the best valuables and old world money. Meanwhile, if you go into the Forsaken Stores, these provide you with rare craft parts that can be used to like create new weapon mods or other more advanced items. So both of these are something that you will definitely want to take part in. But it's again, I really like this design. Kind of it gives you a small mini dungeon in a game that you already have fun with, just slashing things away. So I like the increased loot that exists in Dying Light 2. Of course, I'm gonna keep you guys posted with a ton of Dying Light content once it drops next month. I cannot wait for that. In the meantime, totally let me know down below if you enjoyed these videos by subscribing to the channel, leaving a like on the video, and activating that notification bell. And also make sure you also take part in our new giveaways. We have a few both for Dying Light, but other games as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video.